Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, mahaba, moni moli wanji, namaste, jambo, bienvenidos. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We're coming to you from the beautiful neighborhood of Reedville in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. We are so delighted and so very honored that you are joining us in our mission to help families grow closer through reading. Please be sure to subscribe to the show on the iHeartRadio app, on Amazon Music, Audible, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast. Our guest today is Robin Albertson Wren. She is here to celebrate Finding Peace, Mindfulness Journal for Kids. Before we invite Robin into the studio, we want to let you know we have a brand new Reading with Your Kids certified great read, Skipper, Friend or Foe, written by Kelly Sanchez. This is a thrilling mystery adventure story with contemporary themes, perfect for boys, girls, and teenagers aged 9 to 14. It's a story about friendship, family, loss, bravery, and overcoming adversity. The story follows Michael, a 12-year-old boy who lives with his parents and a younger sister in a beautiful town of Nowata. Michael lives a pretty happy and peaceful life with his family until his mother is diagnosed with cancer. The news of his mother's illness leaves Michael and his little sister Jennifer shattered and heartbroken. The thought of losing his mother due to this illness makes Michael incredibly sad. He is worried, angry, confused, and lonely. He feels helpless, but decides to take control of his emotions and to put his energy into taking care of his mother. Our panel of teachers, parents, and kids gave Skipper, Friend or Foe 5 stars. They think it's a wonderful page-turner, a thrilling read with intriguing plot twists. You can read our entire review at our website, readingwithyourkids.com. Congratulations to Kelly Sanchez. Her book, Skipper, Friend or Foe, is our latest Reading with Your Kids certified great read. Joining us right now from the great state of Virginia, our guest today is celebrating a beautiful book. It's called Finding Peace, Mindfulness Journal for Kids. Please welcome to the show our guest, Robin Albertson Wren. Hey, Robin, welcome to the Reading with Your Kids podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I'm really excited to have you here. I'd love to find out about your book, but I understand you want to do something before we start our conversation.
Yeah, so I have this idea.
Okay.
What if we were to just take a moment and sort of settle? I'm sure that all the listeners out there have had a lot going on in your minds today, right? So what if we just took a moment to settle your body, settle your mind, and sort of arrive in this space so you're ready to learn, ready to listen, ready to take in something new?
Now, is this something we can do if the listener is driving?
Yes,
okay.
Although I would recommend keep your eyes open at all times.
Okay.
All right. If you're washing the dishes, right, just pause. If you're out in the garden, take a pause. Whatever it is, just take a moment to really be where you are. So what I'm going to do is put my feet flat on the floor, rest my hands comfortably. If you're standing at the sink or something, maybe just feel your feet on the floor. Just notice where you are. If it works for you, feel free to close your eyes or just lower your gaze. The idea is to not be distracted by anything around you, unless, of course, you're driving, in which case you are completely alert to that. So notice the weight of your own arms. Perhaps notice the temperature of your clothing. Maybe you can feel the air on your skin. If you're outside, perhaps you can feel the breeze or the sun. Just taking a moment to breathe in through your nose, holding it for a second or two, and then allowing a long exhale through your mouth. Taking a moment here just to breathe in and let go. Allowing your heart rate to slow, which sends a chemical message to your brain telling you that you're relaxed. Just taking a moment to settle those muscles, Let go of those thoughts. There's nowhere else you need to be. Nothing else you need to do. If it's helpful, you can imagine you're sitting along a riverbank and perhaps there are leaves floating past you. And those leaves are your thoughts, your emotions. And you're not going to jump in the river and cling to those. You're not going to try to control them in any way. You're just going to let them go. But you might notice them. And if it's helpful, you can imagine that there's a bend in the river up ahead and the leaves can come to rest there and you can pick them up later if you still want them. Or you can let them go on their own journey. So just check in with yourself. How do you feel? In your body, in your muscles, in your mind, with your thoughts. Perhaps comparing that to how you were about 15 minutes ago. And then as you're ready, blinking open your eyes if they're closed. And tuning back into this.
Very cool. I'm imagining some listeners out there would suggest that I do this before every show.
I would recommend that you do it before every show. You want people to really be here with you, right? A lot of times we are stuck in our own heads, worrying about stuff that's already happened, wondering about what might happen, as opposed to being present right where we are, right?
You know, the thing that was going through my mind was, what a wonderful way to start school. Mm-hmm. Instead of, you know, the typical school, especially because I perform in a lot of inner city schools where it's rather chaotic, and, you know, the beginning of school oftentimes has a teacher in the front of the room banging a piece of chalk, well, in the old days, a piece of chalk, or banging something on the table to get the kids' attention. If the kids just learn to come in and sit and feel their feet on the floor and feel the breath in. I might be wishful thinking. My wife would tell me I'm wishful thinking. She's taught in the cities for 33 years, but wow, what a difference it would make if that were possible.
You know, the way that I got interested in mindfulness was because I work at a school that's preschool through 12th grade. I also teach at the University of Virginia, so I teach college kids in the evenings. But in my school, we decided we were going to create something called a peaceful pause, because we realized that these second graders are coming in from recess, right? And they're either so traumatized by what has happened or they're so excited about what has happened that they're not able to do fractions. So we're like, we need to do something, whether it's like ringing a bell or just taking a deep breath or something in order to settle down. And then we can go in and do math, right? And so kids in our school would do that when they were coming from their PE class, right? Before music or, before writer's workshop. We wouldn't do it all the time because then it gets old and they go, okay, fine. I'm going to do my peaceful pause. Breathe. But it's a lovely way to just take a break in the middle of the day. And grown-ups can do this too.
Yeah. And there is so many things, that just stress us out, and thinking about them over and over, it doesn't help. It just kind of magnifies the problem, makes it seem bigger and bigger and bigger. In reality, it's just the same problem. It's just the way you're looking at it and the way your body is reacting to how you're stressing about it.
Right. And your neural pathways are becoming superhighways for those same thoughts. You know, when you get a song stuck in your head when you're in a certain place, it's the same thing with our thoughts. If we keep thinking about the same thing, especially a negative thing over and over, our mind keeps doing that and we make these smooth highways. So it's faster for us to go back that same road, and we find ourselves in the same, part of suffering. Yeah. So to retrain our mind to think a little different, take a little bit journey to shake things up a little bit.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that I used to hear from people when I was younger, and I was working in human services as a social worker, and I wasn't hearing this so much from the clients that I was serving. I was hearing it from the other professionals, the other social workers, and I would often hear things like, I'm depressed. That's just the way I am. That's just the way I look at life. There's nothing I can do with it. It's just, and those are the people where everything was, catastrophized. The parking space wasn't there, and it was, and their response was, it's just the way I am. There's nothing I can do about it. And we're actually learning that there is a lot we can do about the way we think. You were talking about neural pathways, and I know that there's this plasticity in our minds that we weren't aware of before that really can allow us to change our minds without going in with scalpels and doing surgery.
Right. Yeah. Recognizing that, real depression is a real thing, exactly, and that people often say that mindfulness can go hand in hand with therapy. It doesn't replace therapy, but one of the things that John Kabat-Zinn does, and he's sort of known as the father or the grandfather of modern day mindfulness here in the United States. He started his work in the late 1970s up in Boston at UMass General, and he was talking about working with people who suffer from chronic pain, right? And some people who suffer from chronic pain are just like, oh, woe is me, I'm always like this. I can't do anything, forget it. And other people, lead TED Talks about like, can you believe that I can do this after all this horrible stuff that's happened to me? So he was working with people to sort of put your mind around that, right? There's this big connection between our minds and our bodies, and making those connections and being in control of us. And the one things that I love about this book that I've been working on, Finding Peace, is that we want to help kids early on recognize that they are in control of themselves, right? And that we make these choices, in the ways that we handle difficult situations, in the way that we manage stress, in the way that we communicate with other people, the way we feel about ourselves. So giving that sense of empowerment to people, especially really young people, can be a lifelong shift.
Yeah. Now, the first reaction I have is, wow, teaching kids mindfulness, this is a really kind of a new thing. And, a few years ago, I might have even said it's kind of woo-woo. But the reality is we've been expecting kids to control their emotions forever, but we haven't been teaching them how to control their emotions. I probably said to my kids when they were younger, get a hold of yourself, stop crying, get over it, move on, without sitting down and helping them experience what it is they're feeling, identify what it is they're feeling, and then helping them move on to a better place emotionally.
Right. I know. I think one of the most helpful things we can do for children is to let their emotions be okay, right? This book is called Guided Prompts to Help Manage Big Feelings. We all have big feelings, and as grown-ups, we get better and better at like squashing them down or getting rid of them. But, oftentimes you say to grown-ups, how's that working out for you, right? Like if you don't deal with your feelings, they're called feelings for a reason. You got to feel them, right? So letting it be okay if a kid is sad, cry it out. And then look over in the distance. This is what we do at school a lot. Especially really little ones, if they are having trouble separating from their parents and they come to you crying, and you put them on the swing, right? And they're crying and they're sad, but then they have to sort of hold on, right? They have to do something physical, and they also can broaden their horizons. And when you literally broaden your horizon, when you literally look out into the distance, you are able to see things from a different perspective, right? It's not as scary or sad. When we are angry or frustrated or worried, we get very myopic, right? We are just noticing something right in front of us, and all we're feeling is anger, all we're feeling is fear, and everything seems scary. But if you look out and broaden, that can really help. So giving kids these little tiny tools can make a huge difference.
Is that why taking a drink of water was so magical with my kids when they were younger and they scraped their knee or they're upset, and it was just, oh, come have a drink of water, you'll feel better? Is that kind of what's going on? It
really could be. Well, and that's kind of like a distraction tool, right? Okay. But there's something to that, because every sensation that we have is temporary, right? Every moment of pain can be temporary, but then what we do is we relive it in our heads, and we just keep getting upset about things. Like if you get upset at something, if somebody says something hurtful to you, like that feeling that you get in your chest or your heart or whatever, that can last, 90 seconds. Like people say, oh my gosh, it lasted for like 10 years, right? It was so hurtful. But what happens is that feeling, the physical reaction you have to something negative, literally takes 90 seconds or less. And then what we do is we just relive it in our brains and self-sabotage ourselves over and over again.
This is really neat. And this is something that's fascinated me for probably 20 or 25 years. As a social worker, there's a lot of things that I kind of knew instinctually working with the different clients. But I read a book probably 20 years ago. It was, I think, Thanks, the New Science of Gratitude. And it just went into the science that discovered that when you live gratefully, you are happier, you're healthier, you deal with pain better. And it's amazing. And we've had many guests on talking about many of the same things that a lot of the things that seem overwhelming, if you just kind of shift the way that you're thinking. I mean, I do this with young magicians who come to me and they say, I'm so nervous. I'm going out on stage. My heart's beating. There's butterflies in my stomach. I'm sweating. I can't, my mouth is all dried up. And when I say to them, no, you're just interpreting that pulse rate up, butterflies in your tummy, dry mouth. That's the same physical thing that goes on when you're excited. You're not nervous. You're excited. And it's amazing. They turn around, they go, oh, I never realized that. And then they walk on stage and they do a great job.
That's great. Yeah, get your adrenaline. Adrenaline can be really good, right? And some stress is good too, because it keeps us on our toes, right? But what I want to do is help people manage stress that you want to get rid of. The stuff that keeps you up at night, the stuff that makes you not able to learn. Yeah.
So how does finding peace work? Because I'm not expecting to give a second grader or a first grader a journal and go, okay, dude, journal and, write about your day.
Right.
This is something that seems like it's totally interactive for a family.
Yeah. So let me describe it to you. So there's 5 sections. They are called grounded, calm, cool, collected, focused, kind, and connected. So the grounded section talks about, so those are all different topics in mindfulness. So the grounded section has a lot of analogies with trees and anchoring yourself and being connected to the planet and like feeling your feet on the ground, like what we had just done. The calm, cool, collected section actually has these lovely images of cucumbers. That's what the illustrator did, which are very sweet. So there's smiling cucumbers in this book. Who knew, right? So different things that you can do to calm yourself down when you're feeling upset, to cool off when you're overheated or reacting. The focused section sort of shines a light on different things. So really noticing maybe 5 of your senses, tuning into something like that. Kind connects us to other people, right? A lot of mindfulness is like, what am I feeling? What am I hearing? What am I seeing? What is going on inside of me right now? But the kind part is, how do you connect with others? What is your communication like? And then the connected piece ties in with that too. And there's several activities on gratitude, like you just mentioned. And so this book has about 110 activities that they're each labeled. So there's one called Swirl of Feelings, one called Take 5, Where's the Spotlight, things like that. And at the beginning of every page, there are all these little images of a person, right? Happy, sad, excited, mad, frustrated, and then there's a blank one. And the idea is that the child at the top of the page every day that they work on this, they circle how they're feeling at that moment. And then there's a section that says, right now, I can touch. And so like, what can they feel right now with their hands? Or what can they feel right now with their feet? Or right now I can see. Or right now I can smell. Or right now I can hear. And then there's an activity, a little meditation, a little thing to do, and then lines and a question, a prompt. How do you feel right now compared to 10 minutes ago, right? Or there's drawing pages. So kids can write on a tree all the things that they are grateful for, or things that they love to do, or things that they love about themselves, and little bubbles above their own head or something like that. So
neat. Very neat.
So I mean, this could be used in a classroom. It could also be used at night with your family.
Mm-hmm.
I had one reviewer on Amazon who said, don't think you have to just get one book for the family. Everybody should have their own.
Now, I'm wondering, is this a book that's meant to be experienced from page 1 to the end, or is it something that a parent can sit down and say, I think we're going to do the swirl tonight because I think that that's what my kid needs?
Yeah, you don't have to go in any particular order. Yeah, you could skip around, or you could start at the beginning and work your way through. But it doesn't have to. It can be mixed up. It doesn't have to go. It doesn't build on itself. It's just all little one-off activities that will help in a certain situation or proactively.
I'm thinking about all the parents who are out there that are stressing out. And first, I want to just say, if you're stressing about your kid getting a scholarship to college when they're in preschool or first or second grade, chill, relax. You don't need to stress. But if you are that person who's stressing about that, instead of stressing, grab a book like Finding Peace, because together you and your kids are going to develop some skills that I think are going to help them succeed in the classroom, that are going to help them reach their potential as an athlete. Every athlete that is performing on a high level, they're using these techniques when they're out there on the field, and virtuoso musicians, the same thing, and actors and magicians. If you're wanting your kid to get that scholarship to go to that top tier college, you don't need to worry about it when they're this young. But if you are, stop worrying and grab a book and start helping your kid develop some really great skills that'll last a lifetime and really help them find happiness in their life.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it'll give, or picks it up and reads it, give you tools for life.
Yeah.
So why not share those with your family, right? If your 7-year-old, it says on the cover that it's ages 6 to 9, but I have a friend who teaches teenagers, and she is planning on doing the activities from these with her students before choir, when they're back in person, with their masks on, or however it works, in the future, and doing these activities to help give them some tools for life that then they can go in and they can do their singing or whatever they're doing in their school day. So
absolutely. And what a neat thing for parents to sit down, because parents, as you're helping your kids learn these skills, I have a feeling that you're going to learn some skills that's going to really benefit your own life.
Yeah, I think it will help with relationships in the family. It'll be something you can draw on later. Oh, remember that anchoring technique we did? Or remember when we took 5 and we just thought about 5 different things that we could see, and 5 different things we could smell, and 5 different things we could hear, and then so-and-so didn't freak out anymore. Remember that? Let's do that again, or let's teach that to grandma, or whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Robin, tell everybody where they can go to find out more about you and find out more about Finding Peace.
Oh, thanks. So, Finding Peace is you can get it on Amazon, or in bookstores, but my website is www.mind-awake@weebly.com.
Awesome. And we always, we love the fact that Amazon is out there, and Target's out there, and Walmart are out there to send us all the different things that we need. But there are small independent bookstores that we need to support too. So, pick up the phone, give your favorite local bookshop a call, and just ask politely, hey, do you have Finding Peace by Robin Albertson Wren? No? Could you get it? I bet you the answer will be, yeah, it'll be here in a couple of days.
Excellent idea. Thank you.
We've had a great time speaking with the author of Finding Peace, Mindfulness Journal for Kids, Robin Albertson Wren. Hey, Robin, thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Please be sure to join us for the next episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be returning to the show, Ning Chai. Author and world-class magician, will be joining us to celebrate her brand new middle grade novel, Manipulation. That's the next episode of the podcast. Hey, if you are the author of a fantastic children's book, You may be frustrated at just how difficult it is to let people know about your book. And now with this Delta variant coming out and the Lambda variant, it's like, are we going to have book signings? Am I going to be able to visit kids in school? Maybe. I don't know. Well, we have something that can help. It's the Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read Program. Earlier in the show, you heard me announce that Kelly Sanchez's Skipper, Friend or Foe is our latest Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read. Our Certified Great Read program has helped so many authors to let people know that their book is worthy of their attention. Check it out today. It could be something that could really make a difference in your book business. Remember, I know you're an author, you're an artist, you don't want to deal with marketing and business, but the reality is, if you're an author, if you want the world to read this beautiful book that you created, you have to put on that marketing cap, that become that business person. And we can help you. The Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read Program. Check it out today. Go to our website, readingwithyourkids.com. Click on the Authors Click Here button at the top of the page. Scroll on down to Certified Great Reads. I want to thank the folks who made today's show so wonderful. Of course, I want to thank our guest, J. Robin Albertson Wren. Also want to thank my team, Alana Doherty, Fatima Khan. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. Most of all, we all want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And as always, thank you so very much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.